Hey everyone, I'm Megan and I am an arts educator here with Artists for Kids. Today I want to introduce you to a really cool project that we've developed for secondary students. And this project is really about familiarizing ourselves with abstract art, painting and mark making, and really telling stories without using words so much as shape, line, texture, depth, and dynamic composition. Let's look at the work of Vancouver-based abstract painter Russna Kaur, specifically her piece Butterfly Tattoos. What path do you take as the viewer? How do you navigate the colors, shapes, and composition? What story is being told? For today's lesson, we're going to take inspiration from this piece specifically to tell our own intuitive story. I like to start with a prompt, and today I've chosen the theme of what was your path to class today? Using various drawing materials such as pencil crayon, wax crayon, art sticks, and graphite, as well as acrylic paints, stencils, paper, and board, we are going to create a mixed media abstract painting using sensory inspiration, imagination, and inquiry. Folks, today is not about perfection. It's about pushing your materials, taking risks, and reflecting your personal voice. It's about how you process information and how you can use that to articulate your artistic language. If you don't have a sketchbook, grab a piece of scrap paper or anything else to write on. Jot down some thoughts. What were your moods on your way to school today? On your way to work? Maybe you're at home. Maybe it's just the journey from your bedroom to your bathroom to your kitchen to your couch. Think about the route that you took. Think about how you felt. Were there smells? Were there stores? Were there roads and cars? Now, something else I would like you to do is just close your eyes, put your pen or pencil or whatever you're using to make your marks on a page, on a paper. And I want you to think in your mind what the line from where you started to where you are would look like. Now, what you should have in front of you is some notes, some words, some simple drawings, some marks, some squiggles, and I want to use all of this in our painting. This piece is going to incorporate paint, drawing, and collage, and maybe even a little bit of text. So what we're actually going to do is develop our own surfaces to make our collage. Maybe you went past a construction site. Maybe it was loud. Maybe this is how I represent how that made me feel. Maybe I went past a park. You can use marks to recreate patterns you saw on someone's clothing, a fence you walked by. However you think you could represent the smell of a coffee drifting through the air. It can be as complex or as simple as you want it to be. One of the most important parts of this is developing interesting textures, interesting marks. The imperfections are what's going to make this work unique. The more variation in materials, the more dynamic and interesting a composition we're going to have. And remember, at this point, we're just developing a surface to collage with. Try to really listen to your body. Listen to all of your senses. How do you project a feeling with just the movement of your hands, with just the marks you make? And that energy is going to be transferred onto your surface. You can also incorporate a little bit of text into your collage materials. But we're going to try to distort those a little bit to make them almost unrecognizable. All the while, I'm coming back to this idea of line, of navigating a route, of taking a path. All of these shapes that I'm making are indicative of that. Taking different directions, developing new information and new gesture. By now we should have built up at least two surfaces. The idea here is now you have collage materials that are directly made up of your own energy, your own information, and your own processing. As you can see, I've already painted the surface of my gessoed board. This is just to give a general background painting. I decided to recreate one of the lines I drew representing my route to AFK today. I then added a little bit of white acrylic paint. At this point, I want to start trying out my collage pieces. It's good to not glue anything down right away or fasten anything right away, because this is just going to give us a kind of trial run of what looks good together. And that's what's nice about having collage, is that you don't necessarily have to commit to the first composition you create. When you've chosen an arrangement that you like, with different collage pieces overlapping, creating lots of interesting negative space, I would recommend using acrylic medium to adhere everything to your surface. Acrylic medium is great because it acts like glue, but you can also use it to blend paint if you want, because we will want to go in afterwards and do some unifying marks to tie this all together with paint and again with our dry materials. Once you're happy with your placement of your collage materials, this is going to be the part where you're going to go in and resolve your composition. So we need to do something to unify the whole thing, and that's entirely up to you. What I like to do is go in with a color of acrylic paint that's a little bit watered down, a little bit thinned out, so that we get that same overall coverage with textures from the previous layers poking through. You can see we already have an extremely dynamic composition, and it's quite hard to tell which layer came first. I would recommend painting along edges that are already created by the composition you've built, while also creating your own edges. This is going to create a little bit of versatility and a little bit of visual trickery. So we're creating layers, we're uncovering layers, and we're overlapping layers all at the same time. Draw into your wet paint. Try flipping your painting over. See how it looks from different angles. And that, my friends, is a map of how I got here today.